right. Hopefully this one will stick around. According to their file, the client is easily scared, suffers from extreme OCD, and has problems with their significant other. Prior to meeting the client, I believe she will be inclined to twice-a-week meetings with possible use of medication. Of course, that will be determined after the introductory meeting. Hello? Ruth?
Yes.
Well, Ruth, why don't we begin with a few beginner questions, shall we?
Sure.
Excellent. Now, were you recommended or did you come to therapy of your own accord?
It was recommended.
What brings you to my office specifically? Well, all right, Ruth, thank you so much for opening up and allowing me to get to know you. Before we end our call, I did want to remind you that you can choose to not meet with me again and get assigned another therapist if you find our meeting wasn't beneficial enough for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice night. Maybe they did request me again. I didn't want to see you again either. Client named Ruth Abernathy, 45 female with dark hair and dark eyes. Meek demeanor and closed off body language. Spent entire session talking about her uncle and her 3 cats. No mention of spouse or traits or any other information that could be afflicting her, which was provided via her file. Could have worked if they had not requested another counselor. We'll keep on the back burner for now. Let's try again tomorrow. Okay. Interesting. Client has a history of jumping around from counselors. Most consistent counselor was for 5 months until counselor filed a harassment report against client. All communication between client and counselor ceased, and the client has not seen a counselor since. It is also listed here that the client has a tendency to overthink and has severe anxiety. Currently prescribed diazepam for anxiety. Let's get her in. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were going to.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were going to.
Yeah, right. Sorry. I just got anxious because I didn't know when you were going to say hello, or if I should say hello, or if either of us should, or if I should even said hello, because now I think about it is
Jane. Take a deep breath for me, please. Let's start over, shall we? Hello, Jane. I'm Dr. Magnus, but you can refer to me as Dr. Cleo.
Hello, Dr. Cleo. It's nice to meet you.
You as well. Now, to begin, I do have some beginner questions.
Can I ask you a couple questions?
Pardon?
Oh, it's just that I like knowing who my therapist is, and every other one I've seen has some sort of internet trail, but you don't seem to.
I suppose that's because when the in-person office is shut down, I've had to take all my belongings, and I've just not gotten around to uploading everything to my computer.
So did you never use a strong internet presence to track clients?
Technically speaking, the company refers clients to me mainly, and I take on whichever clients that I feel comfortable to take on, and those that feel comfortable working with me.
So what's your record been like?
Excuse me, my record?
What's been your success rate at curing people?
Jane, I'm sorry, but that's not really how therapy works. Therapy is used as a way for someone to talk through their experiences with a third party.
What kind of achievements do you have?
Oh, well, I don't prefer to speak about my achievements. I find it to be pompous and a poor use of time. I prefer paying attention to my clients and their needs.
Has anyone ever killed themselves after seeing you?
I don't know, or I don't believe so.
Okay.
Okay.
I wanted to see how you would react to me interrogating you.
Did it help to make you feel more comfortable?
Yes. Let's continue.
All right. First question. Were you recommended therapy or did you come of your own volition?
I came of my own volition. Several people have recommended it in passing, but this is sort of my choice. I've been going for a while now.
All right. And just as a reminder, Jane, if you wanted to request another counselor, you can do so after this appointment ends. Do you have any more questions for me?
Yes. When can we schedule another appointment, and how many appointments per week do you think I'll need?
No. I will have to look at my schedule, and I think to start, we should probably maintain one.
That won't be enough.
All right. How many would you like to have then, Jane?
4 to 5 appointments per week?
I apologize, Jane, but that amount of appointments is not something I can accommodate right now. How about a compromise? 2 per week?
That sounds fine. Can we do the next one tomorrow at 3 p.m.?
Let me check real quick. Yes, it would appear that 3 o'clock tomorrow is available. All right. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night, Jane.
Thank you. You too.
Interesting client. This one might be tough to crack in the end, but I think I can do it. She's careful and concise and maintains a strong facade rather than displaying her true thoughts and emotions across her face. This is going to be a very fascinating experience, to say the least. All right, Jane, since we only have a few more minutes before our session is done, is there anything else you want to mention or that you want to get to first in our next session?
Not particularly. I did want to say that, as I'm sure you're aware, I have had several therapists since I've been going to therapy. And during that entire time, I've had a lot of different kinds of therapists, and all of them were either too personal, too boring, or too weird. And I didn't really open up to them.
So you didn't talk with your previous counselors about your history?
No, I did, but it wasn't as in-depth as I wanted.
I see. Are there things that you wish you had covered in your time with them? Things you would like for us to eventually get to?
Well, we will get to all of that as time goes on, I believe. I don't know, there's just something about you that makes me feel comfortable, like I can really open up. Sorry if that's too forward or awkward.
It's quite all right. I'm glad you feel comfortable enough to speak freely. It's even better that you feel able to be open. That is going to be the key if we want to make true progress and help you in the best way we can.
Absolutely. I think we'll be able to get some real good work done here.
Well, I hope you believe so. After all, it is my job. And truth be told, since the transition from in-person therapy to teletherapy happened, I will admit it has been a lot harder to hold on to clients. Of course, I have more of my clients from before, but even still, obtaining new clients is always the goal.
Well, as far as I can tell, you've handled the transition quite well, and you've definitely obtained a new client.
And it is very much appreciated. But unfortunately, this brings us to the end of our session. Shall I pencil you in for the same days and times for following sessions?
Yes, that works great. Thank you, Dr. Cleo.
Of course, Jane. Until next session. Well, Jane, it has yet again reached the end of our time. I think we've made some very good progress today, and I want to commend you for being so open and honest as per usual.
Thank you, Doctor.
Please, call me Cleo. I tell all my clients that they may feel free to refer to me by my first name, Some find it creates a deeper bond and thus more vulnerability. Some choose not to. It's completely up to you.
Thank you, Cleo.
Of course. Is there anything else before I end today's session?
Yes. I wanted to ask this for a rather long time, but I was afraid of the response I'd get.
Ask away.
When I first got assigned to you, I was looking for records on you. I couldn't find anything in particular, but I did find some news articles from your last institution and some
Yes.
obituaries.
Oh. From staff or clients?
Clients, specifically 3 of them. I couldn't decipher which therapist all of them went to, but you were one of them for one girl. A Sarah Dawson?
Sarah is dead?
You didn't know.
No, I stepped away from that place and came here and placed all my clients that didn't want to continue with me with colleagues of mine.
Oh.
I suppose the colleagues I referred her to, those were people I recommended. People I told them they would be in good hands with.
You can't blame yourself. Can I ask what happened?
How do you mean?
It made you want to leave the last place you were at.
Oh, no, that's quite a long and arduous story.
I'm free tomorrow night.
Excuse me?
To talk, of course. I just think it'd be great to further secure our relationship. As client and therapist, of course.
I don't think that would be very appropriate.
You're right. I apologize.
Unless, of course, you were particularly adamant about it, and you understood that I would in no way be able to provide official help in the context of mental health?
Oh, of course not, doctor.
What time would you hypothetically be thinking?
6 p.m.?
I believe I could fit that into my schedule.
Until then, Cleo.
Until then. Hello, Jane?
Hello, Cleo.
How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. How are you?
You already asked me how I am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's good to hear
What is?
that you're doing well.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. This is all just so new to me, and quite frankly,
Awkward.
Yes. I'm sorry. I've never done this with any of my clients before, and I guess it has also been a while since I've spoken to anybody not in a formal or personal setting.
No, I totally understand. I guess I just thought that sometimes the therapist needs to talk to someone, even if it might be a client.
I suppose so.
So I guess let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room then.
Sure. What would you like to know?
I guess how you didn't hear about it. Sarah, that is.
It's hard to say, really. When I left my previous residency, it was all such a blur that I suppose I didn't realize just how far I disconnected myself from that place and its people. I enjoyed my time there, and I suppose I broke up, for lack of a better phrase, with the life I had there for the life I now have here.
Why'd you do it? Leave? I mean, were you unhappy there, or?
I can surely say that it wasn't because I was unhappy there, but I guess my work there just ran its course.
Do you think that if you could, you'd go back?
I'm not sure it would have mattered. Things happen in this world regardless of whether we could have prevented them or not. It's very apparent that these clients, these poor people, they were troubled, and I know now that I did the best I could, but in the end, it wasn't enough, and it's no one's fault in particular.
Exactly. Sometimes things are bound to happen because that's what the universe wants. Things happen and people die, but that's just what it's supposed to be like.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. Anywho, why don't you share something?
Sure. Well, I wanted to wait until the next session to bring this up, but now seems like a good time as any. I'm seeing someone.
Oh, who is this person?
His name is Liam, and I met him through work. He's a very nice man and has a very successful career at a marketing firm, which is a nice change of pace from the scumbag, jobless guys I've dated before. It really feels like I'm moving up in the ranks, so to speak.
Really? I have some friends that are prominent in that business. Would I know the firm?
Perhaps. They're a newer business, so they're only in their first year, but so far so good. The name is Feldman Advertising.
What an interesting name. I'll have to be sure to keep an ear out for them in the future.
Oh, please do. He's in charge of the creative layouts, so he rarely goes out of his office and barely leaves the floor he actually works on.
Well, this can be a great jumping off point for our next session.
Of course. You're always drinking tea during meetings.
It relaxes me. It's become somewhat of a crutch for myself, I suppose.
I get that. I used to drink coffee in the same way, really.
See, I tried coffee back in college, but I found that it was far too strong for me. Hello, Jane. How have you been?
Not too well, to be completely honest.
Please, go on if you feel up to it.
Liam left me.
Oh?
Yeah, it's just been so weird.
Weird. It's an interesting choice of word. Would you like to elaborate?
I don't know. It was just so abrupt and out of nowhere. He had just told me he was falling in love with me a couple days before, so I just don't understand.
I am terribly sorry to hear that. Was there any closure at all?
Just a note, basically saying why he left me. That he never really loved me and that he didn't like the idea of us getting too serious. And based off my friends, he doesn't think I have good taste, which is really weird because he's never met any of my friends.
Oh dear, that's terrible.
Right? God, why does this always happen to me?
Perhaps it's for the best.
How do you mean?
Maybe this is an opportunity to discover yourself and to be alone. You know, not relying on anyone and being completely isolated so that you can reflect on yourself.
Do you think that'd be a good idea?
Absolutely. Or at least I found it to be beneficial. Isolating oneself from the world so that only those who have conversations with you, such as therapists, are aware of your existence is proven to be quite liberating.
And you've done this? Completely cut yourself off from the world, not a soul that knows who you are unless they must?
Yes, I have.
Must make it so easy to just disappear.
It does.
Well, I might just have to give it some thought, Doctor.
Of course. Client is becoming unraveled. After being broken up with by Liam McIntyre, 32, male, she is spiraling into a state of doubt and insecurity. I've suggested the concept of a complete isolation, and it is apparent it is only a matter of time before she succumbs to the method. This should make for a relatively easy and quick method of execution. Hello, Jane. Is everything all right?
No, I just got they just told me that.
Jane, take a deep breath and then try to speak.
Okay. I just got off the phone with Meredith,
Who's Meredith?
Liam's mom.
And what did she say?
She told me, she told me that
Yes?
it's just so horrible.
Jane, please, I can't help you if I don't know what's going on.
They found him.
Found who?
Liam.
They found Liam.
Yes, a bunch of hikers found him.
I see. It is completely natural to feel overwhelmed and hurt when one is confronted with an ex, especially when that ex ended things on such a brash and uncaring matter.
No, you don't understand.
Then please help me to understand.
The hikers found Liam's body.
His body?
Yes.
As in
they found his dead body floating in the river.
Oh my. I'm so terribly sorry.
Or at least part of it.
Part of it.
His body was chopped up.
Oh dear. Well, how are they certain it's him?
Whoever did this was stupid enough, thank God, to leave his wallet near the body.
Perhaps that was not intentional. Maybe it fell off the body during transportation. Nonetheless, it's quite lucky for you. Usually when loved ones go missing, it can take years before their bodies are recovered.
Sure, I'll make sure to tell Meredith that we're the lucky ones.
That's... I'm so sorry, Jane.
I don't understand. He leaves me and then some stranger brutally murders him. I just don't get it. Why?
Some things we don't get an explanation for.
I mean, chopping up his limbs, what was the point? Why would someone be so careless and do something so boring?
Excuse me?
I mean, chopping up his limbs, that's so 80s, don't you think?
I don't follow.
I mean, surely there are far more creative ways than simply just treating them like dead meat. But technology nowadays, there's so many other methods that would have gotten the job done and still been more exciting.
Well, I don't think the method is necessarily what someone would call boring. It's dismembering a human being.
And Geen, Dahmer, you name them, they started the trend, but now it's just dull.
Well, I mean, I suppose this person wasn't thinking of trends when they did it.
But shouldn't they have been? I don't know. It just seems like some low-life loser who lives with his mom would do something like that.
Let's not jump to conclusions about this person and their home life. These people can come from anywhere. Why don't we continue the discussion?
You're right. Even hick murderers are more creative. No, this guy was just lame. And by the detail the cops gave Meredith was very experienced. So this loser just chose to be lazy and take the easy way out. How pathetic.
I wouldn't say pathetic.
You're just a sad loser who doesn't know how to commit a good murder.
That seems a bit...
Not unlike that of a toddler learning to walk.
I don't think you should be
handling... who dismembers someone and goes, yeah, that's the method I want to go with, and is proud of it.
I think you should...
I guess if you're going to be bad at something, then be good at being bad at something.
You try taking down that 6'2" Yeti of a man!
So you admit it.
What?
You admit you murdered Liam.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Oh, drop it! When you showed me those notes from last week, I recognized the handwriting immediately. Quite a stupid move to use your own handwriting.
How on earth did you...
Oh, but don't worry, I'm not going to tell.
Please, I can explain. What?
What?
I don't understand.
What's not to understand?
Why wouldn't you tell?
Oh, I don't want to tell because I want in.
Excuse me?
I've been surveying this circuit for a couple years now, and I haven't been able to snag a viable bite. I'm bored, and I'm not above asking for help. So let's partner up.
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on. It could be great. I know, you were probably planning on breaking into my apartment and poisoning my drinks, but come on, where's the fun in that?
Foolish of you to think I want to work with anyone.
You're right, and that's why I have a proposition.
If you think, even for a second, I'm going to entertain
I mean,
you.
if you want me to go to the cops and tell them you were awfully intrigued about my boyfriend, I'm sure they'll have a field day with that.
I'm listening.
It's quite simple. I'll refer people to you, and then you do the main work.
This is ridiculous.
Look, if anything, I'm helping you out. And maybe, I don't know, along the line, if you think I'm doing a good job, then we can go in equally on things. Maybe I get to input some of my creative ideas.
You do realize how this sounds, right? Name one instance where working with another person hasn't resulted in one or both people getting caught or killed.
Look, I saw what you did with those other clients from your last job. The psychological manipulation, immaculate. I only wish I could be as good as you are at it, but I'm not. So let's team up. We could cover way more of the city if we did. Consider it more of a mentorship, if anything.
See, here's the thing you misunderstand. I would never work with an amateur. It's degrading and an insult to my legacy. Those past clients were carefully crafted and handpicked from my litter. I'm not just going to let some nobody in on my operation.
You're not even going to consider it?
Jane, listen to me. You seem bright and you're young. I'm sorry, but quite frankly, I don't have the time nor patience to walk you through everything I do.
Please.
You're begging now. That's how I know you're not ready for the big leagues.
What does that mean? Because I'm showing how badly I want this?
Because you're showing how elementary you are. Begging. Do you think Ted Bundy begged his victims to trust him? No.
Ted Bundy was also like really charismatic though.
Hey, I am just as charismatic as Ted. Stop getting me off track. It's not going to happen. Get another dream, kid.
I was afraid you'd say that. What a shame.
What's a shame?
Just don't forget that I tried to give you the option.
And just what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I would have turned you into the cops, but I hold you in too much of a high regard to do that to you.
What are you going on about now?
Of course, if I did that, it would put me right back where I started. So I came up with another solution.
Solution? I already told you, kid.
Oh, how's your tea, doctor?
What does that... I see. How'd you do it?
You're not the only one who knows how to find someone's location via Zoom. I apologize, but I knew I would have to do something drastic for when you ultimately refused my offer.
I suppose it does make sense. I assume it'll make it look like I had a heart attack.
Yes. I wanted to be more complex with it, but I couldn't do that to my role model.
You consider it. Did you?
Oh, did I touch your collection? I transferred everything when I poisoned your tea. I am sorry. I just need this really badly.
Do what you want, but I know kids like you. And kids like you never make it. You don't have that thing we all have.
What thing?
That thing in the back of our heads that says do it. That says if we don't kill, we feel empty inside.
Maybe I do have that.
No. You're just a bored kid who didn't want to be like the rest.
Maybe you're right. But it doesn't matter now. You'll be dead within seconds and none of this will matter to you.
Before I go, I am curious. What would you have done if I'd said yes?
I'm not a monster. I did hide an antidote in your apartment.
Smart.
Just know that it was such an honor to have worked with you face to face and to have even been one of your prospective victims. I only hope to be as successful as you were. You're a legacy and an inspiration to me. Farewell.
Farewell, I suppose.
All right, time for dinner.
Therapy, they say. It'll be good for you, they say. I'm never forgiving Marcy for this.
Hello? Oh, shoot. How do I turn on my camera? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Sorry, new laptop, trying to get familiar.
No problem.
All right. Sean, it's lovely to meet you. Where should we begin?